January 11th.
Make a motion to endorse. Approve the minutes.
I didn't see any problems with it. Anybody else, any problems?
No, Norm, I just have one question for David, if I could ask it.
Yep.
Dave, the Zotley property that we signed off, I shouldn't say we, I did, but the A&R, do we have that in a PDF that you could send me?
Yeah, yep,
Okay, if you could, at your convenience, just email it to me, I'd appreciate it.
sure.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion to,
No, one second, on page 4, town council, however, town council advised that the application must be treated as a new one, so the planning board was asked to provide comments if appropriate. Far as, and nothing, and at the end, so they agreed to make no comment. But didn't we make a comment? Yeah, we said there was no frontage. This is the lot down on 122, near,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, the board discussed it, but officially determined to send a memo of no comment to the zoning board of appeals, which is what was provided to them.
Because, yeah, Dick, I think they were appealing the zoning, and because it wasn't conforming, we were basically taking it's gotta conform to the existing bylaws.
But we don't make a comment about that.
no.
Good point.
It's in their hands, because they're the ones that are gonna grant the variance.
They were going before the board of appeals specifically because it didn't conform to the current zoning bylaw.
So it says here, so the planning board was asked to provide comment if appropriate, and I thought that was appropriate. So that's all, I'm putting my 2 cents in, and other than that, the heck with it, move on.
Dave?
I distinctly remember asking for clarification whether the board wanted to provide a comment or not, and the board's consensus was to provide no comment. That was what was distributed to the zoning board, for that matter.
Wouldn't we have made a comment if we were gonna support the variance as opposed to not making a comment and just, I guess I don't know how to explain
Actually,
this.
it's not a variance, this is an administrative appeal of the building commissioner's decision not to issue a building permit on this matter.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a second on the minutes?
I'll second.
Okay, anything further? And since we are mostly remote, we need to do a roll call vote. So, in favor, Marilyn,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Norm, aye. We do have, next thing on the agenda is we do have a notice from the town of Hubbardston regarding an accessory thing. I'm just curious, Dick, did you actually go and look at it? On
No,
the-
I did not, but I was going to,
Oh, okay.
but,
'Cause I know your comment, you was thinking
just,
that they were
for
copying us.
everybody, it looks like they might have copied us, so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, next, we have an A&R lot on,
Mr. Chair, can you just pardon me for 1 second? I'm not sure that we have a successful screen share here.
okay,
Just for the public's knowledge, we should show the things we're talking about as much as that's possible.
yeah.
Just give me 1 quick second here.
It's showing notice for public hearing right now for Hubbardston.
I'm not seeing it on that screen.
You're not?
I'm seeing it, I'm not seeing it on the screen here, actually. I'm seeing it on my.
Yeah, Dave, I'm seeing notice of public hearing. I'm not seeing if there is any video of the actual meeting, it's just the town of Rutland's.
Oh,
You know, seal.
thank you for saying that, Kevin, because last night when we did it, you could see everybody in the room. So Peter's checking on it now.
Yeah, because last meeting was the same way, so when there was, conversation or whatever, and, there's no video of the room, there's just the seal of Rutland.
Yeah, they just got new equipment, and yesterday was the first time we tried it out, and it did work. So hopefully he can get it up and running, and then you can see people in the room.
Yeah, because I see the RCTV that was flashing back between Dave and Dick and then Norm and you, Tamika, and that's it.
Oh, so
It was just sort of,
you could see it.
yeah, it was flashing back and forth. But it was
Okay.
on the RCTV. The town of Rutland, to Kevin's point, still just has the banner and that's it.
Okay.
The beauty of technology.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Right?
no, the wonders of technology.
You guys are fancy, because when we have our board meetings, we just have an open forum, but we don't put anything up on it.
We're high tech,
Yeah, I
you
guess.
know?
You guys have a nice room though, we don't,
Yes.
our board of assessors in this little telephone
Yes.
booth.
It's nice in here because the mics are
There
already
you go.
here and
Okay. Focus is on Dick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoops.
Thank God.
Mr. Williams, can you handle the truth?
Speak.
I need the remote back up. Up there. Come on.
It worked so smoothly last night.
I know, I was just telling Kevin that. It worked really well last night.
Oh, I could hear you. Thank you. I
Oh, you're
appreciate the
welcome.
comments.
Good thing I didn't say anything bad, Peter.
Go ahead and plug that in.
There. So that's your screen. That's what you're sharing.
Yeah.
It's not what, this is not what Zoom is seeing. Zoom only sees this. It doesn't see any of this.
Okay. All right, good.
Okay?
Great, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Tigger, I can speak Tigger.
All right, thanks, Norm. So,
Okay, so A&R,
yeah,
Irish Lane.
I guess I will ask my question, Norm.
Yeah.
Is this just that little lot that says 1 on it? Is that all we're talking about?
That's it.
Okay. And I understand now with the unbuildable, because that's okay, because if they've got to come back for a special permit for a couple 50-foot,
State law.
estate lots, they can do that, but to be fair, because there's not 200 feet of frontage, it is definitely an unbuildable lot.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good? Approved.
I have a question though,
Yep.
because he's saying it's unbuildable, because we don't have, the proper frontage for a single lot right now.
Yeah, you don't have a special permit yet for a
Right,
state.
but he's saying unbuildable, and I kind of have a problem with that verbiage that he's using, because it is buildable if we can get special permit down the road.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, but that's it. That's been standard language that we have been requiring on plans.
so this note does not say it's an unbuildable lot. The note says this parcel does not meet the current frontage requirements for a house lot per the town of Rutland zoning bylaws
Yeah.
without a special permit from the town of Rutland planning board,
Mm-hmm.
which is different than not buildable. It's making the note that with the remaining land by itself with 186 feet of frontage does not meet the requirement for frontage of 200 feet, but it may with a special permit for some other time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So it's not the same note.
And
So I
that's
do have
not-
another,
That's not what's written on this.
Yes,
That's-
correct.
right,
Well, that's, okay, I,
Documents don't match.
so the note on the Mylar is different than what they provided for the paper copy. The Mylar is gonna control.
but I think that one that you're looking at, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, see, I did have a problem with that verbiage on that one. But the thing is though, okay, so we're 14 feet short of another single house lot. Is there any way you could get a variance for just the, if we say we wanna have another single
The zoning
lot?
board of appeals, you can attempt the variance through the zoning board of appeals.
So that is an option as well, that we, if we went through that process. There is an option that we could probably do another single lot, and there would just be two house lots there.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And do we know, can you determine what a number would be for this house lot? Because, for this one that we're trying to get approved, because they're trying to get their financing, and the bank wants to know a street number.
The numbers are determined by the town clerk's office, working with the fire chief and also the town assessor as needed.
So when would that be determined?
I don't know.
You could go after Robin. You could literally go over and, once this plan's signed off on,
Yeah.
Okay,
ask her
Talk to Anita.
okay,
terminate.
all right.
David, I think that's correct. Once it's been signed, recorded, and all that in the system,
I
you
don't,
can press that.
I don't know that to be correct or not, but it may be worthwhile to talk to Anita to see if she can tell you what the process is from this point.
Sure, okay.
Hey, Robin,
Yes,
Kevin Jarvie here.
yes.
Have you, approached both neighbors to see if there's land to be purchased on either side of you before you do all this?
Have we approached them for what reasoning?
Have you tried to buy some land from either one of your neighbors? They've
No,
got
actually
Out
Wadsworth,
Woods,
their driveway is literally on our border. So they would have
Gotcha.
to move their driveway, and then I have not approached the other side.
just a, point, it might not be worth it, they've got, you got 267 feet, if that's woods or something else, maybe where that triangle comes down, you could shoot straight down and over, and 196 point whatever becomes 201.
Right,
Or maybe, I'm just throwing it out there. If
Yeah.
you know the right side is no good, then it's not gonna make a difference on that lot either way, so, as you mentioned, for tonight's purposes, move, but on the other one, it might be, something to discuss with the
yeah,
other
down the
neighbors.
road. I mean, we like to keep it as pristine or whatever as we can, so that's why I wanted to make sure that if there's an option that we could just do one other house lot and just put two houses in there and leave the rest. So I guess, if in the future, if that's what we decide to do, then yes, I would approach the other neighbor to see if we could buy 14 feet or 15 feet to give us an extra foot of frontage.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments on the A&R? And I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept, the A&R as presented,
To endorse.
to endorse the A&R presented on Irish Lane.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion?
Can I just ask one question though?
Yep.
I don't wanna pressure the board, but I know these kids are under the gun right now to try and get their financing, and the bank is like, oh, we're giving you 3 days. When they question the bank, they go, we can't have this information to you in 3 days. So they said that's just what they kind of, to expedite the whole process, but I don't wanna put anybody under pressure to get up to sign the document, but is there, we looking at a week for people to come up to sign it, or, can you kinda give me an idea of how long this is gonna take?
It's,
I can be there in the morning, that's not a problem.
okay, and there's two of us here. If he can make it in the morning, then that'll make it 3 by tomorrow.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it, Kevin, thank you.
So after it's endorsed, it'll be at the town clerk's office.
Okay,
So if I'm not in, you can pick it up there.
yeah, I'll talk to Anita tomorrow, I'll go in early afternoon tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin, thank you, board.
You got it.
Anything further? Okay, then in favor, roll call. Kevin?
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Tim?
I guess I'm gonna ask the board because I abut Sassawana. Should I, abstain myself for this? I don't have anything to do with Irish Lane.
No.
Okay, I say aye then.
Okay. Dick?
Aye.
Norm, aye. Endorsement is approved.
All right.
Okay, next, we have a continuation of a public hearing for
Mr.
the,
Chair, I don't mean to interrupt, but that continuation's scheduled for 7 o'clock, a time specific.
aha,
So you'd have to wait a few minutes before taking that up.
okay,
Although there is some other business I believe the board could do in the meantime.
yeah. Okay, let's skip 3 for now and go right to 4. And I don't think we have anything new on Maple Hill, do we?
I think there's some sidebar happening. I can give you the board some information here on one thing the board was looking for follow-up on.
Okay,
Thank you, again, I appreciate it. Have a good
Hi,
night.
Robin.
So the issue of there was an issue of the puddling.
mhm,
So from the last meeting, that was apparently resolved through comments from the DPW director. And the board seemed to accept the rationale for not having to further modify the pavement or do anything else. So that comment's been transmitted to the consulting engineer, and therefore that ought to show up as resolved on the next report from Maple Hill Estates.
mhm. Okay. Anything else on Maple Hill?
I don't have anything else, no.
Norma, if I remember right, the chief or Director Buckley was okay with what was going on with those berms being a little higher than they should be, because it was gonna be more of a headache. Basically, they ripped their whole road up to get it taken care of.
Yeah.
Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, it doesn't really have anything to do with the berms. It was just the fact that there's, here and there some little tiny dips in the pavement.
Oh, the low spots where some water was gathering.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm fine with that then.
okay. Okay, might as well skip right to number 5, Bryce Lemon Estates.
So on that, we don't have any consulting engineer reports, but there's some follow-up. So there was an issue regarding whether or not houses can be sold before one phase is done. I sent that decision to the planning board. And I believe on your recollection and our reading of it, there's no such condition.
Yeah. I don't see anything.
And then the other item for follow-up was, when will phase 4 be done to connect phases 2 and 3? That request was made of the developer, and we're still waiting for an answer to that question.
Okay. Anything else on Bryce Lemon?
Norm, have we gotten anything feedback from Carl on all of the silt and issues with phase 3? Has that been addressed? Or if Peter's here, has the Concon had any issues with it? Because it was on his last report, but I hadn't seen any resolution, emails or anything.
In my last conversation with Carl, I asked him if, that silt on the road is a big deal. He said, no, it isn't really, but he says, at some point, it is gonna have to be cleaned, certainly before they put a final coat of paving down.
Okay.
But outside of that, no. I believe I also talked with Peter Crane, and his comment was, unless wetlands are affected, he has no problems with it.
All right, Norm, thanks. I'm good then.
Anything else on Bryce Lemon?
Oh, I guess I hate to say this. One more thing. Did we get that email out to Clee indicating that if he's going to go for phase 2's road approval, that we need to get that started sooner than later?
I don't recall that as a distinct follow-up item, however, that is in the works, and we'll follow up with the developer for both of the subdivisions for which they seek road acceptance.
Because I think he was gonna go, and I apologize if I'm wrong, for Maple Hill and then Bryce Lemon that I know of, for phase 2 at Bryce Lemon and then Maple Hill. And again, I think I mentioned this last meeting, I really like, we're approaching February. I'd like to get this to Carl, get it blessed. So at the end of March, 1st of April, we're making a decision. And I get it that some of the stuff can't be fixed until April or so, but we're ahead of the game. We're not backed up to the town meeting trying to make a decision. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I think the only thing significant that, as near as I know, we have, well, I don't even know if we have gotten, are as-built plans for either one of them.
I believe we have as-built plan, I'd have to check on that.
Yeah.
As I just mentioned, we are well aware of this street acceptance. We know why it was not able to be taken last fall. So I'd expect the developer to be in very good position to resolve this to the board's satisfaction.
Yeah. Virtually all the points are seasonal related. They can't do any paving, they can't really spread and seed loam this time of the year, so.
But if they've got the as-bills done, it indicates what they're gonna do when they can. At least we could get that to Carl and have him start reviewing it, and hopefully we won't come up with 99 points of interest. Or am I being too early?
I don't know, I think, we're still in January, a little bit early on that.
Okay. All right, good enough.
How busy is Carl?
I have no idea.
Because we had a problem with them earlier, or I should say later last year.
Mhm.
They were having a tough time trying to, keep up.
I mean, I wonder if, say Mr. Blair was in the meeting, do you think he'd have a problem with it? That's how I kind of look at it, because I had a couple other, those little things, the stop sign at the end there that's coming up on the 122A. I get you can't put in you can't pour concrete right now and dig a hole, but, could you put a temporary up there inside of where the snow bankings are now? And, I think there's a couple things that maybe could be addressed before the snow, thaws and on some of them, and, if, I don't know. I'm not opposed to what Tim's saying, but again, I'm new to the past several years, so if there's been issues in the past, why not try to nip it in the bud this year?
Kevin, I like your thinking. What if we ask him, to get the as-bills, and there's a punch list of items that he's got to get done. So we have 6 or 7 items, punch list items that we know he can't complete until April. At least we'll have everything else done but those 6 or 7 items, which will put us in a great position for when we have to bless this for the town meeting. I like your thinking.
Just thinking, I thought I recalled that the stop sign was put up,
What subdivision are we talking about?
Maple Hill.
That's up.
It's up.
It's up.
That one's up.
Yeah, stop sign is up. And the stop line has been painted across the roadway.
I'm talking about right on 122A.
Yeah. 122A,
Wrong place.
wrong place.
Yeah.
I think he means.
Maybe,
Main
well, where's
Street.
that stop sign?
Main
There's no stop
Street.
sign right there.
Maple, that's Maple Hill on Maple Ave.
No, I think Kevin's talking about where Phase 3 meets Main Street.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about phase
Yeah,
3.
but we're not talking, we're
but I
talking,
We're not
think that's
talking
what
about
he's
phase 3.
referring
We're talking
to.
about phase 2 for Bryce
I
Lemon.
think he's
Yeah.
confused. Maybe.
Alright, so that's, I'm sorry, that. So the other one's up. So that was an item, I had thought that was the same item, 'cause I drive by that all the time, and there's no, even a temporary there. So that's my mistake. I thought that was one that we were talking about. If you've done the other one, that's good. If this one's not in need of being done anytime soon, then I won't worry about it now. But
Yeah.
there's cars in and out of there all the time.
Yeah, Kevin, I don't think he's ready to come to the town for phase 3 yet. I think he's gonna do phase 2, which is the next section off of, Charnick Hill. I think that's his next move, to get that section approved.
Well, with the same theory, does it make sense to have that checklist and,
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with 110%. Have him get the as-built in and give us a punch list of what has to be finished. Let Carl get started on everything that he can except the punch list items. And then March, April, we've got 6 items to check instead of 22 or 24.
So Dave, you wanna check with, you wanna first check with Carl, see if he has gotten the as-bills?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, I would say that would be the place to start.
Yeah,
Somehow or other, I've got a hunch he may have Maple Hill as-bills.
possibly he's already started all this work that we're talking about, so.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on Bryce Lemon?
There was one other thing, Norm, did we ever get I remember last meeting, and maybe I wasn't as explicit as I should. Did we ever get a timeline from Blair or from Tom Larson or anybody on how the phases, like phase 1's finished, 2's finished, they're working on 3, and then they're gonna punch 2 from 3 to 4, like a timeline on that? I remember we talked about it. I thought we were going to get an idea from Blair Construction or Tom to have some type of, I don't know, timeline so we can see. Does anybody remember mentioning that? Or
Yeah, I know it was mentioned. I'm just curious as to the purpose of that.
well, because we're sort of taking 8 to 10 years to do a subdivision, and I'd really like to see how they're planning on finishing these subdivisions, because this isn't the appropriate time. But it's either this meeting or next meeting that we've got 3 or 4 subdivisions that have been sitting out there, and they're up for a second or third special permit renewal. And this is, again, me personal, I'm not gonna speak for the whole board. I'm done. Resubmit. 12, 14 years on the books is way too much. So that's the reason why, to Dick's point last meeting, we couldn't remember if, there's supposed to be an occupation permit for phase 3 because this subdivision was approved 7.5 years ago. So that's why now that they're under construction and they've got a lot of done, phase 1, 2, 3, they've got 4 left. Somebody should have a timeline how to do that.
Oh, no.
Yep.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the request regarding when phase 4 will be started versus the other phases 1, 2, and 3, that request has been made to the developer and we're waiting for a reply.
Okay.
And I thought the developer had mentioned that he's been working with DEP and I believe it was some other organization on that. He had a problem that needed to be resolved.
Okay, I don't particularly recall that, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Could very well
He
be.
was in the room when Blair was sitting right there.
Okay. Okay, anything else on Bryce Lemon? Well, my eyes are a little bit fuzzy, but I'm gonna say it's 7 o'clock so we can go back to item 3, which is a continuation of the public hearing for a special permit for a car wash. And just about all cars out here around here need washing now.
That's what we thought.
So, I don't know, Dave, you wanna just
Sure,
update
let
us a
me-
little bit?
Sure, so as the board knows, this matter's been under review for some time now. Over several meetings, the board has worked with the applicant to narrow the list down of items that are still required. Staff had a meeting with the applicant a few days ago with respect to a total of 8 items. I think we have answers to all of these items. if you want me to go through the items one at a time, and then we can get further information, or however you want to
Yeah,
proceed.
that
let me
sounds
know.
like a good idea, yeah.
So the first item was about any kind of lights that would be on the building or on the site. It's my understanding that there was an engineer involved who's gonna develop a schematic lighting plan.
We have those plans that were
applicant
just
now
delivered
has.
to us tonight
You
from
wanna
the
speak-
electrical
You
engineer.
want us to just speak to what you have for those plans?
He rushed, I haven't looked through these plans, he rushed to get them through today, but this is everything that we had discussed yesterday, when we met, or was that yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
But I have everything that you're looking for there, as well as what you're looking for on, size requirements that you were looking, just,
Maybe we can just work through each item separately.
Yeah.
So there's no like trespass on the lights that are shown?
No, he's got, the electrical engineers have some sort of special formula they run to show where the lighting and how
Is that
far
for
it
you?
goes, and it doesn't
Is
contaminate.
this for the board? We need a copy for the file, at least.
it can be,
I can, you know what I can do
get
is I
another
can have,
file,
I
that's
can have
fine.
some more made
that
tomorrow.
can be for the board, that's fine,
That's fine.
if you need those.
We do it for the file.
But that's our final for the electrical.
Is there one or two there, Dave?
There might be 2 there.
I think I asked him to make 2, could be 3.
I'm sorry, I just grabbed them, he just dropped them off.
Yeah, he left them at the door of our office.
We were pushing to get here for the meeting, so.
Okay, there's 2 copies. We just
Okay,
need one.
great, I'll keep this one.
Maybe you could just describe what's on these plans and just talk to the plans to the board.
Sure, so we've been talking about, RAB lighting packs, LED lighting packs, which we're gonna use is minimally invasive. We're gonna keep them all down under 8 feet across, we're right across from here. And with our exposure that we have for the lighting that's gonna be there, it shouldn't interfere with anything on Palmagussit Road, as you can see there. And he was confident with that, I'm confident with that as well. We had discussed this blueprint, I haven't looked it through completely. But there's our RAB, and our RABs around the vacuum station and around this station. And really, nothing else is gonna change that's already there with the existing structure. So if you wanna take a look at that, just
You wanna take a look at this?
Yeah. Yeah, about my,
And I believe he's also put on there the conduit that has to run out to the back stations, which is across the driveway.
right, which is gonna be channeled.
now this is just lighting for the area, it's
For
not,
the area, around the building,
Around the
and over
building
at the
and at
back
the back
stations.
stations.
so it's not advertising lighting.
No,
Nothing's
no.
gonna be over 8 feet high, and it's all gonna be load-directed RAB lighting.
That's about the only thing that I have any.
Not that you're gonna see that from Palmagussit Road as you go down.
And we had talked about a lot of this lighting, especially like at the back stations, will have sensors on them, so if they're not, if there's nobody there actively using within 5 minutes, they shut down.
Okay, that's nice. As much as I can read and
And you
understand.
could just explain this to us, what are we looking at here? Where's the light detail itself? Is that the detail of the light?
Alright, so here's our function of our lights here. Like I said, I haven't had time, he just dropped these off, we're cutting to make this.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just looking for a key here as to what it's similar.
Alright, so here's our 3 back stations, here's what we're coming into. We're gonna have some lighting here, obviously on the
Okay,
A's.
so the little circles are
Right,
where the lighting's gonna be.
exactly, around this
Yeah.
itself, and this is behind the building, so here's Palmagussit coming down here. All we're gonna do is illuminate enough to let people safely come in through here. And we've eliminated this, we've done everything else that we're looking at doing as far as retaining walls and eliminating this. And our lighting is gonna be here, and mainly here, there's gonna be 3 lights over these back stations,
Yeah.
which are gonna sit 8 feet high.
Mhm.
They're gonna be pedestal lights that are gonna sit up, and they're gonna focus right down over the area,
Mhm.
where the focus is, where the vacuum is.
You're not trying to light it to the
No, these are going straight down, they're going straight down.
So the light is directional.
Directional, straight down. This is gonna be right over these stations here. And we're not accentuating any more lighting that's on Century Oil as there is right now, which we have a sign out here, we have the lighting that's there existing.
Mhm.
We're not looking at putting any more lighting on front of that street.
Yeah.
Our lighting is mainly gonna be back here, like we said, it'll be on timers, and it's gonna be isolated behind the building. You're not gonna see it from the road.
Norm, this is Tim.
Yeah,
Even if there was a little bit of light diffusion, if I'm not mistaken, in that area, there's no residential housing across from that facility, so.
That's correct.
And it's in what I would consider the center of town, which is, you know, our TC zone. So from a safety standpoint and from a, call it police standpoint, I think the layout that I've looked at with Zach and Brian's got, in my mind, is acceptable.
yeah.
Are you saying, Tim, maybe you ought to fire over towards the ball field so they can play at night?
Well, just think about that, Dick. When those lights are on at that field, you see it all the way over Memorial Field.
Yeah.
And there's no way Brian and Zach's facility is going to be seen over Memorial Field. So I consider them a small light delusion compared to that field. And think about it again. The building right next to them, the DPW, has lights on all day, every day, all night, 24/7. So, you know, again, I don't see this lighting plan as obtrusive down the road.
What are we showing here?
Well, to me, that looks
This is
like
like
open
detail.
and close the switch. It looks like they're showing us where our essential utilities are coming through the ground there. And that's just looking at this quick, that's where our utilities are coming in from this main building going underneath, channeling up.
If the
That's where
board
we're gonna
approves
get.
this, can we just get a schematic of the light type itself? A picture of the light type?
I can do that, sure, if that's what,
Yeah.
if that's what you need,
That was probably-
I can do that.
Just a picture of those?
Yeah, just what is it gonna look like?
So the RABs on the building are obviously gonna be, we can pick between several wattages. I had shown you our whole display of what we have for wattages, lights, whatever works for you.
Well, whatever works for you
Over
folks,
here are
as long
gonna be
as no light
directly down,
trespass.
over these three zones are gonna be directly down, one pole, just lights that
Whatever
are
you guys
spotlights.
pick that doesn't have light trespassing, you just get a
Hey,
picture of it.
tell me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're really getting at is we need a good bill of material of what components are being put in at the site.
Okay.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, we just wanna
Absolutely.
see a cut sheet of a model that's gonna be.
I can
used.
tell you every model of what's gonna be where it's gonna be, if that's what you need.
And they
That
want
is
to
what we
control
need,
it.
so that the board can see what it looks like.
I just
Right.
think on the plans,
It's more the picture.
I'm used to seeing on at least my plans that I deal with on in my company is we've always got like a one sheet
Sure.
that has the bill of materials.
And as I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, and excuse me, we just got these, but, as I'm looking at this print here, excuse me for a second. I'm not seeing wattage on these that is posted, but I can get you the wattage that's gonna be here, and you can see where the lights are gonna be here. I'm not seeing the wattage, and they're on LED, and we have 5 different choices of wattage. Whatever you guys would prefer, we can go with. The lowest, I believe, is 8,000 watts up to 24,000 watts on LED. And I don't have that here right now.
Plus, we can get a brochure on a cut sheet.
And I can give you a cut sheet right from the manufacturer on these wrap packs.
Essentially, what these.
You're right.
Something that
These-
looks like that.
Right.
It's gonna be going on the side of the
So
building.
that's what we're looking at.
Right, just down, and they're faced right down toward the ground where you're coming in and out, where you're egressing and
It's gonna be lighting the
and it's-
driveway, it's gonna be lighting the front of that, and it's gonna be lighting where, points of egress.
Right,
So now, okay, you're having an electrical engineer
Yeah.
design this.
yes, because we had
I'm
to.
assuming he is gonna come up with recommendations probably for wattage.
Yes, he is. 'Cause
Right,
they have-
he is.
They have a
He is.
formula that they use.
Yeah.
Right, and they're looking at how many square footage we have there,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
quite there yet, we're pushing this
Mhm.
to see where we're
Yeah.
at, but
Well,
as
I'll
far as
guarantee
he's
you-
concerned, and everyone is.
No one of us knows the formula,
No.
or how.
I
to-
don't.
And he was telling us, he just finished a car wash over in Boylston at Mercedes dealer there, whoever it is. He just did all the electrical engineering for that job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's very familiar
The old
with
Wagner?
that.
At the old Wagner Mercedes?
Yes, yeah.
I don't have any problem.
All of our lighting is concealed behind our existing structure here.
Yeah.
And we're not bringing anything forward to Palmagussit Road. We're bringing it this way and we're staying back in our contained area, which we own all behind here as well. Here's the ball field. If the ball field has their lights on, like was mentioned, if the ball field has their lights on, it's going to trump whatever we have going on there.
You wanna go on to the next item?
Yeah.
So the renderings, I think we're all set on this for now.
Okay. Do you want a copy of this?
We'll keep
Why
this
don't
in
you
file.
save this one?
And you have your other copy right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, please.
Sure.
So there's a copy of the rendering. So the board was looking to get renderings. These are a couple of ideas for what it might look like. You wanna talk to the renderings?
Yeah, one's a rendering of us using a flat roof, one
One is a 4-pitch roof.
of a pitch roof. We haven't really decided yet which construction form we're going to use. That was drawn up by Mr. Senecal.
So solar on that one to heat the water so it'd be easier.
Yeah.
It might be, if it's
It could
southern
be,
facing,
that
it
could
could
happen.
be. That's not in the plan right now.
You have, I don't see in, the packet what it looks like, you know, from the rectory, from that side. Do you have a visual of that?
I'm not sure if you can see this
I
from
feel like
here.
standing at the vacuums looking at the car wash.
From the,
From the vacuums, no, we don't have a rendering of that.
no, not from that side.
And we weren't alerted of that, we could have done that, we were alerted of a front-facing, just a sketch, which turned into a,
Right, it's that, it's gonna look like a two-bed garage.
Exactly.
Back of the building. It's gonna be two,
and that's what it's
Two
gonna look
doors,
like from
garage doors.
Palmagussit. We were asked just to give a sketch, which we went above and beyond and asked Bill Senecal to do a rendering of it. And that's as close as I can get there. If you need another sketch, we can provide that.
No, I was just curious if you guys had done one anyways, just.
No, we
as
hadn't.
far- I mean, by the time you, I mean, if you do get in with building, I'm sure the building, you know.
Absolutely.
There'll be some plans, so I was just curious, as it is, it's right in the, you know, I'm just curious what it's gonna look like. You know, it's very visual. That's all. I mean, I like, personally, I'd say a pitched roof, but that's, you know.
And that's where we were looking too. We were looking at a 4-pitch roof, which is gonna set that eave higher. You'll see it more obviously with a pitched roof, but that's going to be more
It
aesthetically
matches the rest of the building.
compensating with the rest of the
With
property.
the rest
so
of
that-
the existing building.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was getting at, and, no, other than, I was just curious, I'm not saying you have to go through any more than you've already done, I was just curious if it was out there available.
Well, it's gonna look like that on the side. Sorry.
And right across the roof, you're gonna have Stinson's.
It's actually gonna-
When
So when you fly over, you can see it.
So the next item had to do with walls, retaining walls.
Sure.
Based upon our conversation, there was no final design, but it's understood that retaining walls, everything needed to be located here.
So I have another
There's some comments to that. Yep.
drawing that we've rendered and we've adjusted per your suggestions.
Requests and suggestions.
And
And we
so
have
everything
Mr.
is
Finkelwood's
measured
here
up
with
here
us
now.
tonight to address.
And
There
Mark
was
is
some
here with us.
concern
tonight.
about the height of retaining walls and if they'd require
Coming
special
into
permitting
retaining
and,
walls.
in looking at elevations, that's probably not gonna be the case.
Well, where would you like this to be so that everyone can take a look?
Can you hold it up and talk to it while you're,
I
just
think
show
so,
the,
sure. Can you hold this? All right. So we're looking at Palmagussit Road here. We're looking at this property, like we're looking at it facing this way right now, which is right next door to us. Our egress and everything has been put out, and we're looking at a retaining wall here, which is gonna be no bigger than 3 feet. It's gonna be, modularized block wall, 18 inches high. And we're gonna do 3 feet. If you look at the egress here, we're at 1158 on this end, and we're at 1160 coming in over here. So all we need is 2 feet of wall. That keeps us under a permit, which we're gonna have a permit here anyways, a building permit to put the building up. So we're talking about, I'm gonna do 18 on top of each other across here, which is 36 inches. And that's all we need to adjust this, so that this can come down and have an egress here, means of egress. We can tighten up this wall, and then as far as the wall that we had talked about the other day, that we were talking about big wall, well, the structure of this building is going to be that
The retaining
retaining
wall.
wall, because it's attached to this building. So we're looking at a minimal 4 feet of wall that will have 4 feet up, right at the end of this. Just a small retaining block wall. And really, all of this wall that we were looking at that we had discussed is going to be foundation of that other building that's attached. So it's going to be included with the building.
Which is great, we appreciate that. By the way, these were questions that the board was looking for information on, so I'm sure the.
I understand, and I did everything we could do.
Yep, that's great, thank you.
So really, where we're looking at, there's not a lot of wall going in there. It's gonna be structure of the building.
Yeah, you
And on the
got
other
that.
side, we're under 4 feet on that. We're gonna be 36 inches at this point.
So is this for the file as well?
Sure.
Okay.
If you need that, that's fine. Do we have another copy of that?
No, I'll take that. I'll
Can
get
I
a copy-
take that?
I'll get a
Give
copy
you
made
a copy
for the
of that?
file.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So the next item has to do with the utility connections, the electrical utility connections, which I believe you touched on. And that just had to do with showing that the connection will run underneath the building.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
come.
what we're looking at right now, Ron. We have continuous underneath that building, right from the utility pole, and we can go right out. Now that it's connected on a building, we can go right under that. We have a channel there, that ductwork runs anyways. It's a fully accessible channel. We can throw it in PVC or whatever. And
We had a discussion with the electrical engineer, Friday morning, and we're gonna update the electrical,
the panel's gonna have to be
Panel.
updated to 400.
in our building, so that on the outside, there'll be 2 meters. There'll be one for the existing Century Oil building. There'll be a separate meter for the car wash equipment. And then at that point, because we've located them on the same building, now we can legally run conduit through the basement of the Century Oil building out to where we need it at the car wash. And then it'll be conduited underground over to the back stations, along with air lines, because you have to have compressor and stuff like that.
Very good, so.
Sounds good.
You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Next one had to do with landscaping, just a description of any landscaping improvements that may happen here. I understand that you can speak to that.
Sure, we're not looking at doing any more, we keep the property pristine, and we have a landscaping company that we work with, Princeton Scapes. They're in there twice a year to maintain that, and we're not looking at putting any more there.
No, it's not like
Just
we're gonna do shrubs or anything.
maintaining the fit and finish that we have of that property, which has been the same since we've owned it.
Right, the riprap walls and the.
Right, and we're not looking at changing anything, physically, or putting in, shrubs or anything like that. We don't need that there.
So there's not much room
The
to
space
do
that we
it.
have is all filled.
There isn't much room to do anything.
No, no.
There is, and there's enough room, but we're not gonna fill it in
Yeah.
with shrubs. We're gonna keep it, and it's gonna stay aesthetically from the front, looking at this from Palm and Gussit Road, it's gonna stay the same aesthetically as it always
Yeah.
has been.
All right, so next one, parking spaces, we're just looking to have labeled on the plan.
Sure,
The
and if you
typical
look at that
parking
plan,
space.
I did put up,
there is a scale on this plan, which you can take a ruler and figure this out, but, we actually did mark all of these parking spaces as you recommended, and,
I think the one I had, the existing garage,
Yep,
I had put in, you had a couple of handicap up here. I was gonna add another one here along the side of this building.
so if you look at here,
Yeah, here's-
here's
Yeah.
our wall, and here's all of our markings that you had asked for when we had talked about this a couple
Right.
of days ago. So we're giving you all the dimensions you needed here, which come right off of
Comes off
the,
the scale.
off of the scale,
Yeah.
which
So-
is there.
With an
This is-
additional
this is a scale
handicap
drawing.
slot up here.
So I think what we're looking at are the typical parking space of 9 by 18 for the regular spaces.
Yeah,
We're looking at an aisle width of 21 feet as you come out.
yeah.
Mhm.
And we're looking at 49 feet at the top between the
Sure.
bay.
And
Right.
13 feet between buildings, that if anyone needed to come emergency or whatever, we have
We
the
got a
room
file lane there.
to file a lane through there if there was ever an emergency there.
So as the board requested, now that information's on here.
Okay.
So we'll get a copy of that.
You'll get a copy of this?
Sure, absolutely.
I'll have one done up.
Cool.
Do you need just one full-size one, or do you want?
I'll take it like it's full size.
Okay.
That's the
Do you
scale.
want our markings on
Yeah,
this? You
that
want a
was-
Yeah,
copy
we'll
of
leave
this,
our
right?
markings.
Okay, I'll make a copy of this exact
Right, I
drawing.
think. Next item was open space, just to verify that, so the existing condition doesn't meet the open space because,
We're not changing anything, we're not adding,
We're not making any more runoff there or anything. When we purchased the building, that was the situation that it's in. We haven't changed that from the existing situation, really. Be it asphalt or be it asphalt roof, we have the same runoff on that building.
because the building's gonna be located in a part of this property that's already.
That was
that's already
covered.
asphalted. Yes.
There you
Absolutely.
go. And then the last one had to do with this drainage pipe that was off to the side. Can you just
Hey,
tell me what you
Dave.
Which he investigated.
I looked into it. It's been terminated. I don't know where it goes. It's buried, but I promise it'll never be hooked up again. If you want me to cut that off and bury it with dirt, I will.
I think the board was just wondering about the status of it. It was,
Yeah.
It's nothing that's gonna be utilizable for us or
Yeah.
anyone else at any time. Right now, there's probably a family of squirrels that live in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was more curiosity, I think, than
Yeah,
anything else.
been an issue, yeah.
You know,
Norm, I had one question about this letter that I read on August 18th about the impervious area and pre-treatment. Dave, did you happen to look that over, or let me rephrase that. When we go to actually building this, will we have Carl be doing the calculations like we have in the past, or checking the calculations of the engineer for the stormwater runoff?
I say that again?
Typically with any commercial type buildings, you know, we've done it with Dave Lucier, we've had Carl check the stormwater calculations for the area for impervious and pervious. Are we gonna have Carl do the same thing for this facility?
Well, this
Well,
facility.
Tim, wouldn't that be the same condition that we're under right now? We're not changing any runoff on the building.
I was gonna say, there's,
Well-
It's already commercially zoned. What would be the difference there?
Well, you've added a roof, and what I don't like in this document from New England Environmental Design is I see the words, offer some, should flow. I'm an engineer and I don't like the words should and will offer some. I like to have actual facts, so that's
Okay.
the reason I ask if typically, and the board can tell me if I'm wrong, on any commercial building, we've always asked for the stormwater calculations to be run and to be checked by Carl.
So
Make sure-
is that what we need? We need the stormwater runoff of that 4-pitch roof if we decide to go with a 4-pitch? And you wanna see how much runoff is coming into the gutters? Or what I've been told is that asphalt is asphalt. It's the same runoff. You have the same square footage of where water is hitting that. The runoff is not gonna change what we do here if it's the same substrate that we're coming down on. Is that correct?
I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I'm just putting out there what the procedures of the planning board has been in the past, was to ask for, and again, Norm, the last time I remember is, Mark Elbag had some computer program that he did a calculation, we checked it, we sent to Carl to be checked, and we actually found some errors. So I don't know what that program does.
I'm not an
Again, I'm not-
engineer either. But I can look at the square footage and say that runoff is runoff. And maybe I'm misinformed there. But certainly whatever you need, if you need this to be engineered on a 4-pitch roof and tell you what the difference is on a runoff on an asphalt driveway versus an asphalt roof that's over the driveway, I'm gonna tell you it's the same thing.
yeah, you're not creating any
We're not
new-
creating any more runoff than is
Yeah,
already
and no-
existing on the
yeah,
property.
and no more impervious area.
Absolutely. We're not expanding the area of runoff here.
Time out. What about all those parking lots over on those parking spaces over by the side of the church? That's no longer stone. That's impervious asphalt or something, correct?
No, we're not changing the rip wall there, we're just putting a staircase, and we're actually using, the church has given us a grant to use their parking lot for the top, so that we can ease the parking there, so that it's easier for that car wash. The runoff on the church is going to remain the same.
Yeah, we're not changing
It's all
anything
asphalt,
there.
we're not changing anything over there, all we're putting is a staircase to go down.
All right, I'm just asking questions.
No, that's
So-
fine, I don't
If
understand.
anybody else wants to jump in, I'm fine. That's
I understand what
Everything
Tim's
works
saying as
fine.
far as, if I could just, I think I understand what Tim's saying, if I can verify with you, Tim, is where all those new parking lots are and the vacuum, stalls are, bays are, whatever you got. one-
I understand, but they're not new, they're existing.
It's,
It's all
The
existing
pavement
there,
is
we're not
already
creating more parking, the parking is all
That's
there.
all, that's already all paved.
Right, and the other spots that we are now, in relation to the church, all those parking spots are paved in there, they've been there for longer than I can tell you they've been there. Since the building has been built, since the supplementary, church building has been built. We're not changing any runoff anywhere. We're not building a retaining wall there.
and the vac stations are being built, we're gonna go into the rip-rap wall, which is already an existing runoff. And we're not creating anything new, we're just gonna take some rocks out and put maybe some asphalt in.
I don't know,
I mean-
you know, we're talking, you know, very definitely a couple of different things here. Yes, we have required stormwater, you know, analysis on other buildings. For example, down at Four Corners, the self-storage. Well, he was putting a building with a non-permeable roof on ground that used to be permeable.
I understand that, and that's
So
not where
that's
we're
reasonable.
going.
This,
We're
I just-
doing tit for tat.
yeah, I don't see
And I
any
don't
good
see
reason.
whether that has a roof over it or it doesn't.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the same runoff that's there, because it's all existing.
I don't see any good reason to spend that
Okay.
money.
all right.
So. Okay, so basically,
So I would say that from the staff's perspective, all the information that the board requested through staff to the applicant has been provided, or will be provided once you make the.
Absolutely, I'll get you a copy of
So I
that.
think,
You'll have it
as soon as I
tomorrow.
can.
so I think that, it seems that the applicant has provided the information that the board has requested, in staff's opinion.
okay. So you're saying that our review is complete?
I believe
No,
so.
it can't be. Guys, we don't have the details of the car wash yet. How can we prove a plan?
I have all the details of the car wash right here, if you'd like to look at them, Mr. Narwhal.
They're not in my packet, so I really can't look at them. So.
Okay. I
That
can
was not
provide, I
requested
can
of
provide
us.
you with them.
David, is that what we're looking for? I guess I'll ask you.
Why do we
What
need
more do we
details
need to
of
do?
the actual car wash? That's the building inspector.
Yeah, we'll have to get a permit from the building inspector to put up the building.
Yes.
Right, and the building is gonna have
Aren't we
to.
part of site plan review? Don't we want to know what's going in there? I mean, we make Mr. Lucier show up with detailed plans of a storage
I got copies
facility.
in there.
How about we do the same thing?
I have it all here, Tim.
All right.
There's-
And I'm
there's
not
actually
making sure.
leaflets
I
of
just
the
want to make sure
equipment.
the i's are dotted
Yeah,
and
I
the t's are. That's
And
all
I
I'm
asked you if you wanted them the other day, you said there was no need
I
to
didn't
have
see a
them.
need for it, actually.
No, I didn't think so.
Mr. Chair, I believe what is relevant here is to see, what we see here, you see the dimensions of the car wash itself.
Mhm.
You see how it's gonna be connected to the main building. You see how the site will be accessed on two sides. You see that there's an escape lane. The actual structure is gonna have to comply with what's being shown here for dimensions. The actual particular details of it are a building permit concern. The board does have the rendering that shows generally what it may look like. So that is really the crux of the site plan aspect. The site plan wouldn't necessarily touch on the particulars of building construction and needs.
Yeah, you know, I don't care about what size pipe you use to feed the nozzles in there. That's not That's not.
I do, because it needs
Well,
to be
yeah,
right.
I'm sure you, I'm sure you
You
do.
have an
yeah.
idea of
Yeah, we
what
do.
need
Yeah.
there.
And I'm sure the.
I'm gonna do
the-
this once and it's gonna be done
Yeah.
right.
And I'm sure the building inspector does too,
Right.
you know,
But on here, the thing that's absolute is the dimensions shown
Yep.
for the addition, that's absolute.
Yep.
Yeah.
That can't be exceeded, it can maybe be reduced, but can't not be exceeded.
No,
Absolutely.
So I think that's.
we don't need it to be.
Right.
I have to set,
So in terms of the site plan review, that's a relevant factor.
Okay, any other further questions or comments?
If I could just, and I apologize if I missed this in the beginning, or maybe this is something that comes up in the future. And you wrote in on one of your, I think it was number 2, create a nuisance due to air, water pollution, flooding, noise, dust, vibration, lighting, or visual offensive structures and accessories. And I read through real quick here, and maybe I'm missing a signage. Where's the actual signage for the car wash? Is it gonna say, I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to know a name now, but is there gonna be an actual?
sure, the
sign?
name is gonna be Century Suds, and it's gonna be added to our existing signage on front of the property at 13 Palmagussit Road, which is
So the
already,
same
it's already
sign as-
existing, it's just gonna be an addendum to that sign.
I got you. And I don't want you to think, I mean, again, you guys said it. Your place is beautiful. So, I mean, I have no doubt that what you guys are going to build is going to be on par with what you already maintain. And
We won't
Your home, so
disappoint
I- you know,
anyone, it will look like it's always
I
looked.
get that. Right. No, and I fully agree with that. And the details of the layout, to me, look, great. I think you guys did everything. David was, happy with that. My only thing was, just that visual of what it actually looks like. Too much vinyl.
No, I'm not gonna put up a billboard that says, come get your car washed here, with arrows, and it's not gonna look like Las Vegas here. We're gonna keep to the same signage that we have, and we're not gonna be
Right.
any more obtrusive than anyone else is on that road, be it, Bushnell, be it the ballpark, be it anyone else. It's going to fit right in there aesthetically, and take my word for it, if you need better, then we can do that, but I think that we provided that.
And I just wasn't sure if that's is that a separate thing? I know like the post office came in for a new sign, David, is that a separate conversation, or is that just
It's possible, we'll
a
have to look at
conversation
the,
now and?
we'll have to look
Well,
at
the
the,
existing sign that I have there has room to advertise for a car
if
wash.
I could,
Okay.
we'll have to look at the sign against the bylaw to see how it fits in with
Sure.
the requirement.
Absolutely.
I understand
Yeah.
that, and that's fine.
Do you remember getting a sign permit for the original sign?
I don't remember. But I've been told it's now on state property, so I've got to reconfigure it.
Because they're coming down Palmagussit in 2 years anyways, which is why I'm trying to get this water main in so we don't hit a moratorium.
Jesus.
And
However,
it's all, for me, it's just all up for conversation. Is there gonna be an enter only down below? I see the arrows on the pavement.
Yes.
So then there'll be a small, again, I know you guys will keep it, a smaller enter only. Are those gonna be lit? And then exit and enter only, so I was curious about that as far as navigating. I mean, how many people are gonna come from the center of town and pull in the first entrance and then realize they've gotta drive?
There will obviously be signage there that's going to direct people that this is a horseshoe, you enter here and you exit there. If someone does come in the wrong way, we've proven that we have means of egress. Even if you were to come in there on a busy day, you can still turn your vehicle, even if you had a tractor trailer, you can still get that thing around there and move around. We have plenty of egress on either side of that, even if it's busy. Especially with the 13-foot lane that's in between the buildings there. If
Yeah,
someone
something
were to
like
make a
that,
mistake
more-
there's room to turn around.
Yeah.
And I
Right,
would
which
think
is
that
great.
intuition would tell you this isn't the right way to go.
Okay, the only thing I'd say is I do recall in our sign bylaw, there is language regarding directional and internal
Okay,
signs.
Yes.
so
We
then-
will abide by
Let us
those
know,
when that
yeah.
time comes.
We will figure out what we need to do.
We hadn't
there,
addressed
and
it
we'll
because
use-
we hadn't been asked to
Yeah,
make
Right, we
that
haven't
part of
asked
our
that yet.
presentation.
I just say it's a good idea to look at the bylaw.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
You know, ahead
and we
of
will
time.
abide by that law, and
Yeah.
it's whatever we have to do, whatever you require. I don't wanna put up more signage, as you guys seem concerned about more signage. But if you need more signage there to say, hey, go this way or go this way, I'll put up as many signs as you want. But now you're telling me I can't put up
No,
signs.
signage is
We
for
know we need a
safety.
sign permit to put up a sign, and there are bylaws that control that.
Yeah, mhm.
And we will abide by them,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
and go through the due process.
yeah, I'm just suggesting, yeah,
Yeah.
look at the sign bylaw, because,
Yeah.
you know, I helped write it, but it was
I
years
understand.
back. I don't
And
remember
there's a
half
reason
of
why
what's
it's
in
there, and there's a reason for that, and we will abide by that, absolutely. And we'll do whatever's
Yep.
required of us,
No,
within,
I have no-
within
I
our,
have- I
within
have
our
no-
statute to do that.
I have no doubts. So, it was just.
And then the
just a
other, the other question I had is the depiction you did, again, was great, but what is, so the entire building gonna be vinyl or wood?
Well, everything's vinyl right now, this will be a concrete building, and it will be sided vinyl, the same as the other buildings, so that it aesthetically matches.
Gotcha. Yep.
Is there anything further?
The only thing, Norm, I wanted to add was, Brian and Zach, I'm just asking questions. I know you guys are gonna build a quality building. I'm a rule guy, so I just wanna make sure all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed. And mainly for you guys' protection. I'm not trying to be a pain in the rear end. I just wanna make sure everything's in the package.
No,
That's all
I
I'm looking
understand.
And we will follow the processes that have to be followed. We'll be now
Whatever needs
working
to
with
be
the
done.
building inspector and as we progress.
I'm sure
and stuff.
nothing will go unnoticed here, as far as we've gone to this point. We're willing to, like you said, cross our Ts and dot our Is, and whatever you wanna see done,
Yeah.
we're gonna make happen here. We wanna work with you, we want this to be an asset to the community. We just want to get this done in the right fashion so that everyone's happy with it, and we're willing to do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, so.
And I guess my only point, same as Tim said, I have no doubt that you guys are gonna build a quality building, it's gonna look nice, all that type of stuff, but to not, for me, and it's just, to not see, you know, for the building inspector, he's gonna need to see the plans for the building.
Absolutely.
Which includes a 360-degree, you know, side of everything.
And that's gonna be
So-
ready. We weren't told that we needed that today,
No.
so we don't
Right,
have that
that's-
today.
We're trying to follow steps here.
I understand that. All I'm saying is that for me, as a member of the board, to know that this is going up in the center of our town and to not see all different sides of the building of what it's gonna look like, just for me, would be something that I would like to see. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not gonna say that but I just, for me, knowing that it's gonna be a commercial building up in the center of our town, to not see what the entire building looks like, I didn't realize that we weren't gonna get all that.
No, and I'm sorry, Mr. Jarvie, we weren't notified that we needed that information for today. If we had needed it, we would have done everything that you need, but if you need a 3D spec of this building, that's what we're gonna do at this point. I don't, if that's what you need, that's what we'll do.
Hi, this is Marilyn Sidoti.
I mean, to build a building, you need to, you know what I mean? So at some point, you're gonna need it.
Yes,
You can't do this building without that.
oh, it's going to be there, it's just we didn't know that we needed that today, and we weren't
I'm not
alarmed of
saying
that.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying for a site plan approval, and maybe it's down the road, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe, other board members can speak up, but it's a commercial building going in the center of the town. As a member of the planning board, I'm just wondering if even if it is down the road, it could be added that we get that, because if it's gonna go that quick, and you guys wanna really get cranking on it.
There's going to be a 3D scope of this building, you will be the first to get it when we do it, absolutely.
That's great, but I would think that you guys would be cranking on it if you wanna get approval quick and get building. That sometimes can take months.
I understand, we're playing the game right now, we don't know what is required of us. This is new, I've never built a car wash before. So we're going through the process, this is a learning experience for us. But if that's what you need, then that's what we can provide, and every time that we've been, oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I believe that the rendering that have been provided are representative of what the structure is going to look like, and I believe, in my opinion, are sufficient for the purposes of this site plan.
Good enough.
This is Marilyn Sidoti, and I would like to say that I appreciate that you folks have gone the extra mile with anything that the board has asked of you. Kevin, I appreciate your point, but in this case, I don't, because that side of the building is invisible from the road, it might not be something that we need to worry about. And as I say, I think that you folks have really gone the extra mile to bring in everything that we've asked you for. And I would like to have comments by the rest of the board about whether or not we can approve this tonight.
Okay, yes, my first comment is that certainly this thing has undergone an extremely thorough evaluation and review. I don't see, anything significant, can't even talk tonight, significant, that has been left out, and certainly anything that's in our purview. I guess I would caution, other people about starting to worry about things that are not in our purview. We have to draw a line, So, I believe among other things, for example, don't we have a letter from Concom on this one?
Yes, yes, as a matter of fact, we received correspondence from pretty much all the boards and commissions and departments that we requested information for. In all cases, nobody has any particular issues with this project, whether it's the police department with respect to sight lines, or whether it's Concom with respect to wetlands, or the Board of Health. So, we don't.
What about, David, what about the Board of Health with their list of questions about chemicals and all that stuff? Is that out of our purview?
I think this is gonna need to be reviewed by the Board of Health and the building permit. If there's anything more at that time that they need, they're gonna be looking for it, but I don't believe there's anything substantial that was an issue. I think they're pointing out things that might be of a concern and just to be aware of.
Yep, okay. The Board of Health was the only one when I went through the packet that seemed to have a lot of questions about subsurface septic, water, tree treatment, and stuff like that.
And recycled water.
Once again, that falls under the building permit.
Right.
To close the public hearing.
So, actually, Marilyn was asking about the remaining board's feelings on going ahead and closing this out and approving it. I don't see any reason why we could not, with some conditions of some of those points, that they just be finalized.
Okay.
Or memorialized, maybe, or whatever we would want to call it.
I guess, Norm, I'll ask one question. Dave, do you feel that we've got all of the documentation to move forward with this?
As I indicated earlier, the board was focusing on a limited number of items, those 8 items that we discussed in detail earlier. It seems that the board has received the information that's requested with respect to those 8 items. Some are more substantial than others. So I leave it up to the board to decide whether or not they feel that they received sufficient information on the items that were remaining. What we talked about were the items that were remaining and had not been addressed. So we have the plans. We're gonna be getting additional information to support the light types, a copy of that plan that shows the parking space details. We've heard about the retaining walls in detail, that's part of the minutes. The drainage pipe was insubstantial. Open space, it's a non-conforming situation. Landscape, we heard about that. I think we heard about everything, unless there's a new issue for the first time that the board has.
Well, my question is I see a second special permit in here that's got the diocese, the Catholic diocese.
Yes, and if I could, to that point, so the applicant per the board's request, has obtained an application with the diocese signature authorizing use of their portion of the land for this purpose.
Perfect. I wanted to make sure that was one outstanding item, and if that document that's in this packet covers that, I'm good.
And I'll just say, if I could, through the chair, just as another comment, and I do apologize if it's not our purview, you know, for the aesthetics of a building that's going up in the center of the town, but if that's the building commissioner or, you know, whatever it is, I just, you know, if it wasn't, I'll just make the statement that if it wasn't a local crew doing this, if it wasn't people that live in the center of town and, you know, been here for that long, and it was an out of state or out of whatever company providing this, then I would probably ask for a better visual of it around. But and maybe that we can't do that. And you tell me if I can't, Mr. Chairman, or David say you can't do that. But, you know, on another building, if it was to be a company that we weren't familiar with, or a family that we weren't familiar with, I would personally ask for a little better idea as to what it's going to look like, only because you're going to have to anyways. Maybe down the road that, you know, maybe that could be a condition, but it's right in the center of our town, and to not know what it's going to look like is a little odd to me. But other than that, I'm all set, and I would move to approve.
I've already made the motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on move to close? Okay, roll call vote. Kevin?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Okay, public hearing is closed. I'll accept a motion to grant site plan approval.
So moved.
Just pardon, one quick second, it's actually a special permit for a car wash.
Oh, yeah.
The site plan is
That's right,
part
that's
of the
right, that's
special
right,
permit
yeah. I know.
itself, not standalone separate.
Forgive me,
Sorry, I just wanted to be clear as to what the,
It's been
Okay,
a long day.
yes. Okay, move to grant the special permit for 13 Palmagussit Road.
And also moved.
Do I have
I'll
a second?
second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Once again, roll call, all in favor. Marilyn?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. Special permit is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
We'll
We will
probably,
get those other items to you tomorrow.
Get
We'll
this
have
to you
cut
as
sheets
soon
of
as
the lights
possible.
and
yeah,
perfect,
copy of that print of that plan and,
good,
yeah.
yeah.
So you'll have everything for the file,
good, thank you.
okay?
I'm sure it will take a while for the notice of decision to be written up, and with a special permit, there is a 30-day appeal.
Right, after the
appeal period.
decision is recorded with the town clerk, there's an appeal period after.
Yeah.
I understand that. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you, thank all of you, thank you.
Keep it clean.
Have a good evening.
You too.
We're trying to keep it clean.
I know.
Good evening. I just took this, copied everything. I know. I know, but I just showing you. That's messed up.
Okay, it seems to me we were up to Brittenell Estates, I believe.
Yes, item 6, yep.
So I guess the only comment I would make, I did pay a visit yesterday to Brittenell Estates, and there are not even any footprints in the snow. So my guess is that they have pretty much suspended work for at least the time being on anything there.
And I also have some follow-up for the board after the sidebar wraps up over here.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
So the
Okay.
board requested a letter be sent to the developer regarding inspections by structural engineer. That letter's been sent out, the board should have it by electronic means, as well as requests for the drawings and a schedule of the work.
Any feedback, Dave?
Information was just sent out, so we're still waiting for that.
Oh, so it just got sent out this last week?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else on Brittenell? Bear Hill 2. Once again, I don't think we have any consultant reports. We do have in our hands a subdivision control agreement and a release of covenant.
Norm, this still says Stony Brook Estates.
Yeah, and that
I'm
is,
confused.
that's the owner of Bear Hill 2.
Okay. Well, the other thing I got a problem with is in this release, they talk about plans that were dated November 10th, 2014. Yet in the packet we've got, the plans are dated 2015. So I'm confused.
Oops, wait a minute. Hold on.
And the sign off by the planning board is 2015. So I'm A plus B doesn't equal C.
Where in the subdivision control is that date you're talking about?
It's item C on page 2 of the subdivision and control agreement, where they're going through all of, the subdivision control law, rules and regs, certification of approval, including all conditions issued by the planning board, documents, the covenant. Everything's talking about 2014, but in the packet, and I could be wrong, the drawing and the sign-offs by the planning board that looks like it was recorded by the Registry of Deeds indicates 3/11/2015.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
so there's two plans referenced on page 1 of the subdivision control agreement. One is the original subdivision for a definitive plan for Bear Hill 2. That was approved, that was filed with the Registry of Deeds on 11/18/2014. So that is the plan that is at book page 91065. That's encompasses lots 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. The other plan is the A&R plan, which was recorded at the registry at 32515 at book 912, page 45, and that includes lots 1B, 3A, 4 revision, and 5 revision. Those are the two plans referenced in the subdivision control agreement, and also by extension referenced in the release of covenant for the tri-party. So those are the plans. And then for the board's reference, as per the board's request, Bear Hill 1 was included for reference. But that's not part of the subdivision control agreement. It's only there for reference. So the plans that are there, and the certificate would be for November 10, 2014, which is consistent with, I believe that's consistent with any revision to the,
Are those plans in our packet?
yes, they are.
What the heck are they? I see 06 plans, I see Bear Hill plans, but I don't see Bear Hill 2.
It's in there.
Is it the 1 of 9 plans, or?
The Bear Hill plans were originally drawn on October 17, 2006. It says definitive plan Bear Hill 2. It shows Arrowhead Way and Cleveland Circle. It shows a total of 16 lots.
Yeah, but, okay, I get that. And that was 2006. We're talking about releasing a covenant with, I don't see a plan for 2014 in here. Am I wrong? Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I don't see that plan that's referenced in this document. I see an 06, I see a 2015, and I see a Bear Hill, not a Bear Hill 2, from land planning that's got a date of 04 on it. But
So I guess question for Norm, maybe you recall, so the certificate of approval, including all conditions, dated November 10, 2014, so there was a certificate of approval dated November 10, 2014. The plans are earlier.
guys and lady, I'm not trying to be a pain. I just want to make sure everything's done correct. Because I look at this 2015 plan, and I remember this was a huge departure from what the original Bear Hill 2 was.
Correct.
Dick, do you remember that, or Norm?
Oh, yeah.
Because we granted, if I'm not mistaken, 1, 15, and 16 as part of Bear Hill and allowed them to be built. And maybe it was 14 too, I don't remember.
Yeah, I recall that.
So, yeah. Okay, well maybe I'm 1B. Because see, he calls out in this release of covenant 1B, 3A, 4 Rev, 5 Rev. But on these plans that I'm looking at 2015, there's a 3 Rev, and there's a, I can't find 1B. I can find 1B, but it's down on Palmagussit. It's not even attached to Arrowhead Way. So I'm looking at this drawing from 3/11/15, and the first section of it isn't matching up with what I have in my hand. Does anybody else see that, or am I just blind? And he doesn't even call out 2 Rev for Arrowhead Way as part of the lease for covenant. So I'm looking at this 315 drawing, and the lots that are called out in the subdivision control agreement release don't match. Somebody help me understand that I'm wrong.
The only thing I'm looking at here, 2 Rev on Arrowhead Way.
Yeah, and then
That's,
Normie,
I believe that's one of the existing houses.
yeah, but hasn't that been reconfigured? Because isn't that whole lawsuit thing that we didn't want to get into because they reconfigured the lot? So it's like a brand new lot?
You know, I'm thinking probably yes, but
And since that's part of the new road, wouldn't that, because again, I agree with you guys, 1, 15, and 16 don't come into play. But that lot line that goes from 14 up through 2 Rev and 5 Rev, all of that, all those properties in that Arrowhead Way should be part of this covenant release, correct? Including 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Which she's got that. That's the second part of it. It's the first part that I'm struggling with, where he doesn't have 2 Rev, he doesn't have 3 Rev, and then he adds in this 1B, which is all the way down on Palmagussit, and it's you want to call it its lot frontage and rear doesn't even touch Arrowhead. So I'm struggling with that.
Okay. The only thing is, you know, I would tend to think that, and again, 2 Rev and I think also 3 Rev are the existing houses. I don't think they could ever have been under a covenant.
I think you're right, because if you recall, a portion of Arrowhead was previously accepted, not all of it, but some of it, or it was accessible.
For 600 feet or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so the lots you're talking about, I believe, are part of that
Mhm.
part that was already
Yeah.
accessible.
Right.
yeah.
15 and 16 or 1, I can't remember. It might have been all,
Yeah, but
all 3.
But this is a subdivision. I don't care if there were houses in the past. This is a subdivision. It's brand new lots, right? You don't build a subdivision and say half the subdivision already has houses on it and that's okay. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm good. I'm not opposed to being wrong. I'm okay with that. And then the other struggle I have is I see this proposed 50-foot wide water and sewer easement gone across 11, but it's not mentioned anywhere in this agreement. And that's why I brought it up to Director Buckley last meeting, that somebody really needs to check into that and see if it needs to be part of this covenant release. And I don't think we got any feedback. Is that correct, Dave and Norm?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I'm not aware that
Well-
that's part of this. I'm not aware that that affects the board's ability to sign this tri-party agreement.
Is there a tri-party agreement for 50 feet of water and sewer?
It should be part of it.
That private?
Well, I believe that's what the question was. Would that be something in the public domain that would be taken, or would that always be just private?
I'm gonna drop all this. I'm fine.
Well,
If-
don't drop it.
I'm just struggling why he has 1B in here. Can anybody answer that for me? Lot 1B that's physically on Palmagussit? And has no way, in any effect that I can see, touches Arrowhead or that subdivision. Because if I'm not mistaken, and again, I love being wrong, all of those lots on Palmagussit were A&R years ago.
Correct. And access was provided through Cleveland Circle.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, it seems to me that under Bear Hill 2, that parcel B was part of the original subdivision, and that was reserved for future development, but as part of the subdivision shown on here as parcel B of that subdivision, Bear Hill 2. You have any background on that? You could,
I must be looking at the wrong plan.
so you have the A&R plan, then you have the original subdivision plan.
Yeah,
The
okay.
A&R plan
Yeah.
modifies the original subdivision plan.
Mhm.
I looked at the wrong plan, Norm. Because all of the other plans, and Dave, I appreciate you putting all these older plans in. All of that stuff on Palmagussit is listed as parcel B.
That's correct,
And-
it appears to be part of
Right.
Bear Hill too. Except it
Yeah, but
doesn't-
he came, but Clee came back, and again, this is the problem with 15 and 20-year-old subdivisions, and added in those parcels and negotiated with us, the planning board, to add in, what's the word I'm looking for, an extra lot or so. And if I remember right, that lot 5A and 1B was part of those extras. And if you want to look at the original subdivision, you can see lot 2 and 3 are significantly different than what we have.
I think he just got kicked out.
Hmm?
I don't see his name anymore. I think he lost connection.
Hmm.
Maybe he'll jump back on, but can I, and I wasn't here when this was, and this is just a question. If I'm looking at the right plan, I don't know that these were numbered, but looking at lot 1B and 5A, what was the purpose behind making those so long and skinny? I know this is all done or whatever, but I'm just curious why that was that way. Does anybody recall or remember?
That's my question as well.
Well, why weren't they attached or, that seems really,
There
maybe
was-
it's not the purview of the planning board,
there
but I
were
look at that and I think
state
that's
lots
an
off of
odd
Cleveland.
lot.
Cleveland Circle.
Just a weird lot. I don't understand why they did that. Both of them.
And they had shared driveways. I thought that's a shared
Mhm.
driveway that goes down there.
Well, it's not a shared driveway, it's parallel driveways.
A parallel, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a 2-foot grass strip between the two
Oh,
driveways.
that's right, yeah. Okay, you're right.
But like I say, to Kevin's question, why was that, 5A and 1B, why were those lots configured that way? I do not know. I don't.
So there's, yeah, because I mean, you go there now and correct me if that's not, so
Mhm.
where are the driveways going to be? Is it because of the steepness on Palmagussit? So there's going to be long driveways one from Cleveland and one from Arrowhead? And one from,
Mhm. Yeah, the driveways.
maybe Dave can use his cursor, because that's all I'm looking at, the same thing that I caught my eye there. So where would the driveways be, Dave? Are you aware? Can you put your cursor
Okay,
where they would be?
okay. Here's. Okay, I think I've got your answer to 5A and 1B. He is using the frontage on Palmagussit, but the houses which are now already built are, you see where that, it was the old driveway going up to the top of Bear Hill. That big curved thing, kind of like a curved loop.
Talk about over here.
That was the driveway.
Yes, okay, that's where those houses are built. They are now existing, and they're in that area.
Not on Palmagussit.
Right, they're not on Palmagussit. They're built like where Dave's Arrow is right now. There's a house right there. There's a house right there.
Ah.
But he couldn't get frontage because that was not going to be a road, so he just created that long handle to come down to Palmagussit.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's what it is, but I mean, that,
Yeah.
man, oh man.
I'm surprised he didn't find a little different way of doing it, because if you take a look, the acreage on those things, they're 2.5 or 2 3/4 acre lots, whereas the others are only 30,000 square foot lots.
That's really interesting. You could have a little like dirt bike path all behind there. I'm just saying, wow, you could really tear up behind your neighbors if you wanted to, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
But hey, okay, so it's all up, it's all done, it is what it is, so, maybe, and again, Tim's not back, but I'm new to this too, so I think he brought up a very good point. Why is that one brought on the covenant of Arrowhead when it's already been built? Because the driveway comes off of Arrowhead, is that safe to say? They have a shared driveway to those two houses, right, off of Arrowhead Way. So
All right,
maybe that's why the covenant's on.
You got a
the
phone
release of
now?
covenant's on Arrowhead, that's why one.
You got a phone?
Mhm.
You got a phone?
Do I what?
Do you have a phone?
No.
Tim? Dick, I have to use my phone. Can someone let me in?
He's back.
He's back.
I'm back, Dick, thanks, sorry, I gotta go to my phone, my computer died.
Okay.
All right, so the nitty gritty is what?
Yeah, that's kind of my question right now.
I guess, Norm, all I'm asking, is this document that we have in front of us correct? And I don't know.
Mhm.
I wish Cleve was here or George was here so I could ask that question.
Mhm. Well, I'm sure they'd say it's correct.
Yeah, we're gonna ask him, what about 1B on Palmagussit? How does that affect Arrowhead?
Well, Tim, while you were disconnected there for a second, we realized where the houses were, or I realized where the houses were for 1B and 5A, and we believe that the driveways come in off of Arrowhead, but then why wouldn't 5A, or 5 REV is on there, but not 5A REV, so why wouldn't that one be? Because both of those driveways come in off of Arrowhead, correct?
Oh, I see what you're saying, Kevin. Those houses that you look up Brittenell, and if you go up that common driveway or whatever you want to call it, those houses are right there, and they look into Arrowhead Way, but they've got what I call elusive frontage on Palmagussit that we don't allow anymore. But I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
So maybe that was why, but why isn't 5A REV in there? It'd be the same type of lot. Unless that one was already done.
Maybe, because notice that it's got that 10-foot little strip that goes over to Cleveland Circle. Is that considered enough frontage?
I mean, that's one thing. Yeah, I don't know. They just had to burn up acreage and give it to somebody, so they gave it to that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, you know what?
Wasn't that first lot there, didn't Cleve come to us on Christmas time, or was it across the street, was that the Christmas one? Please say you'll allow it, as a Christmas gift?
Yeah, because I don't think that lot 5A Rev has town water or town sewer, because when Jimmy crossed over right there where that circle is,
Yeah.
and says see detail, I don't think there's any piping going to 5A. It just goes to 1B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then up to Arrowhead Way. So I think you're right, Dick. It was a gift, a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
All right, I'm fine. You know what? Let's move forward.
Okay, the only other issue which I noted was on the release of covenant. There was no mention that it is Bear Hill 2. However, it is referencing the same plans as on the subdivision control agreement. My suggestion here is Dave will write across the top of it on the release of covenant that it is Bear Hill 2 for easy filing reference. And we request Clea that any future covenants make sure that they do include the name of the subdivision.
Yeah, because Norm, how did they do deeds on Stony Brook Estates if that subdivision was approved Bear Hill 2? I'm confused.
Stony Brook,
Have we ever done?
notice it is Stony Brook Estates LLC.
Yeah.
That's the corporation that owns Bear Hill 2.
Okay. All right, I'm fine, because you said Dave will write that on there, so at least there'll be some reference to what subdivision it is being referenced to.
Yeah, the thing is, there is a reference. There's a deed and book and lot numbers and all that stuff. There is a reference. It's just that,
Okay.
it doesn't stand out. And
Yeah.
it would be nice to have it, just like the subdivision control agreement. It says subdivision control agreement, Bear Hill 2 subdivision. Release of
Yeah,
covenant,
okay.
we'd like to say, you know, Town of Rutland, Bear Hill 2 subdivision. But
Okay.
to turn it down right now, there is, let's put it, there is legal reference to connect the two.
I'm good, okay.
Where's the money? Isn't there usually, I mean, this is a release of covenant.
Mhm.
Usually, doesn't it show and how much is gonna be left?
Hey, Dick, where's my second egress?
Yeah. What do you mean, how much money is left?
Yeah, that's a fight I don't wanna take up right now.
Don't we usually get a sheet that shows the, you know, the money, what's left to do and everything else when we're releasing part of the covenant?
Mm-mm. No. You're talking about a bond reduction.
You're right, bond reduction, not covenant.
We have Quinn's report showing that the remaining bond is $140,237.25.
Yeah.
We have Quinn's report. That's what generated this.
All right, well, that's what I don't have here.
Yeah, we got that quite a while
Well,
back.
the report was previously distributed some time ago when it was
Yeah.
originally prepared.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna say that's from back 2 months ago.
I think so.
I say we hold off for another month till he gets it completed.
Gets what completed?
Bear Hill 2. Isn't this for Bear Hill 2?
Yeah,
And you're leaving 142,000? Or you're taking 142,000 off?
he has posted a bond of 142,000.
Okay, yeah.
And that's, Norm, that's our 1-year retention money, correct?
No,
No?
that comes after, the subdivision has been accepted by the town.
Okay, you're right, yeah. That 140 is what could be required to complete whatever's left over.
Right, you gotta have
Yeah.
money left in case he takes a hike and
Yeah,
we have to finish it.
Okay,
yeah. If he takes a hike, that money's ours.
all right, good enough, thanks.
So, Mr. Chair, if the board decides to approve this tonight, one signature has to be attested to by the town clerk, and that's the chair's. Other
Okay.
members who are here can sign it. Is it your custom to get at least 3 out of 5 signatures?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if somebody could come in tomorrow and sign it,
yeah. One of them, it has to be, I think it even states being a majority of.
I'm a judge, you are correct.
Yeah. So.
Does this reflect
Well.
inflation? Should there be a clause in there for that? If we're being held liable
We-
if he takes off
Mhm.
or something happens.
You know, I wish I had the thing here with me, because I do remember a contingency figure put in. But I don't remember if that's in days gone by. You know, back when we had, what's the name, Cullinan Engineering. I remember a contingency at the bottom.
Those guys, oh boy.
Yeah, those guys, oh boy, I know. And like I say, I don't have Quinn's report in front of me, and I can't say that I particularly remember. I think there is. And that would be the inflation figure. However, they don't tie it to inflation, they just take a percentage.
Yeah, that's usually at the bottom, Norm. It's like a 3 or 4% adder
Yeah,
at the bottom after they do all the calculations.
right.
Yeah, sometimes they call it contingency. Other times they call it. They don't use inflation. They use I'll think of it, but it's basically saying a year-to-year adder.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, any other questions, comments on these two documents?
Do you need a motion to, sign, Norm?
Yes,
I make a motion to sign the, I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. The,
subdivision control
Sub-
agreement
subdivision control agreement
and release of,
For-
and release of
for-
covenant.
for Stony Brook Estates LLC in reference to Bear Hill 2.
Is that, did you include the signing the release of covenant in there?
Yes, and also to allow the planning board to sign the release of covenant on said document.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
And that will include, Dave writing in Bear Hill 2.
Bear Hill 2, yep.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Once again, roll call. All in favor, Kevin?
Aye.
Marilyn?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Norm? Aye. So anyway, Dick, if you can sign tonight, I can get up tomorrow or Thursday and go into Anita and sign in her presence.
Then we just need one more.
Yeah.
I want to be up tomorrow in the morning anyways for the
Okay.
Irish.
Okay, that'll be good.
Yep.
Okay. We're moving along like a herd of turtles.
So there's 2 pages to be signed.
Yes. Okay, that was Bear Hill 2. Number 8, there's an informational thing, upcoming item.
Yes. So first off, just to caveat this is information for the board that there is a special permit that'll be coming up for a hearing at the end of February for a marijuana retail facility at 79 Main Street. I will say that the board will be receiving detailed information in time on this matter. Tonight is just to introduce the project. Staff has not had a lot of time to review this thing in detail. So I know that there may be lots of questions, but I think some of those questions might be premature. Suffice it to say that this plan shows the building location, the building size, the parking lots, and the site circulation and access. Outside of that, we haven't looked at the particular details. That information will be coming to the board at this point. So I think, if possible, I think a general discussion would be appropriate tonight. Anything more detailed, that information is not available at this time.
Dave, the only thing I wanted to put out there, and it's more not a question for you, but the detailed designs of the in and out parking, I really want Director Buckley, because this is a state road, 122A, I want this blessed, because I'm not going through a DOT nightmare. So, because,
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, I apologize. Just so the board knows, the typical process here, like for the car wash, is to introduce the plan in general terms to the board, then to have an interdepartmental review meeting of various boards, commissions,
Yeah.
town staff, to raise these issues, to get comments from those groups, to make those comments part of the board's packet. So we'll be asking not just the DPW director, but fire and police, if they have any comments on site approach, etc. I will say that the applicant has provided a parking study, a traffic study for the site. So the traffic study, I believe, answers a lot of the questions that you may have regarding access to the site and functionality of the site with respect to Main Street.
I'm not worried about that, Dave. I'm worried about when the DOT has crossings that's over 10 feet long. As my understanding, it's considered a bridge. Therefore, it has to be built to DOT standards. And I'm looking at this entrance and exit, and it looks to me like it's in state property. So I just want to head this off at the pass and not get into this project deep and find out, oh, well, we've got to help out the developer. No, let's get this nipped in the bud at the beginning.
What exactly is your question then?
My question is, their design shows a culvert which is used inside of our subdivisions, and we've let happen. This is not inside a subdivision. It's off a state road. So is that design that's in there, is that acceptable from A, our DPW director, and B, from the DOT, the Mass DOT?
So is the access to the site, as shown here, acceptable to DPW and or DOT?
Yes, and I'm not worried about the physical width and size. I'm worried about the detail that calls out culvert, stone, heat, culvert FC 22 CP, which looks like the exact same thing that's going into Brittenell Estates. So,
I don't know,
anyhow,
where is he seeing this?
I'm not sure. I have the plan up. Can you show us where these culverts are?
yeah, it's up in the upper right-hand corner. Am I blind?
I like I said, we have it.
I'm looking at it. It's right under where it says general notes. It says 10% compacted fill. It says Caltech FC24 feed connector located at end of roads. Polyurethane liner located under end of units. Unless don't know my stuff, is that an infiltrator or is that a culvert, or maybe I don't know what I'm looking at? That's a possibility too.
That's the infiltrator, that's to take the runoff from the hot top, the pavement and to process it.
Yeah, that's the infiltrator.
Okay. All right, then I apologize, I was wrong.
So this is
And
not
I
a
guess it's
culvert?
premature.
So therefore, there's no question to ask of DOT on this, okay.
Yeah, then I apologize, there's no detail for how they're crossing over that gully that goes off of 122A right in front of that property. So, we'll wait, we can wait, I'm fine with that. We'll wait till, we get to, some discussion about this and move forward. Sorry about that, I apologize.
I don't know, it's, I'm not sure it is. I don't know.
Okay. Anything else on marijuana facility? Like I say, you know, there's gonna be lots of questions, but we've gotta at least get a presentation from the applicant first.
Correct.
And then maybe after the presentation, I'd suggest a site walk. Maybe that's part of the typical process.
I would say yes.
Can we, Norm, and maybe I'm being premature, but during that presentation, could we ask for the CONCON and the DPW director to be at that presentation? So as a team, we could all ask questions instead of individually? I'm throwing it out there. If the body doesn't agree with that, I'm fine. I'm just throwing it out as an idea.
CONCOM may not be involved because I
Yeah.
think the wetlands are much further away.
Yeah, that was my thought as far as Concom is concerned. As far as
Okay.
Joe Buckley, I don't know, we could ask him to see if he's interested.
Yeah, that's all. If he thinks he can review this on his own
Mhm.
and doesn't need to be at the presentation, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like to have his runner-up, Chris.
He's just a professional engineer.
I know he is,
and-
but let's take some of the heat off Joe, let him do his job, and have Chris, who is an assistant,
Mhm.
start taking over some of the stuff.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Okay, we'll ask. Okay. Anything else on item 8? Then, business meeting. And we're already getting kind of late here, but I don't know, I'm gonna make a suggestion, as at least a beginning of this thing, that we inquire of Quinn Engineering whether they are interested in conducting a thorough review of our subdivision regulations, with an eye towards not just updating, but
Presentation?
looking at newer best practices.
Well, you better believe
Okay.
it.
I like that, Norm. I think that's a great idea.
I agree.
And regarding something to do with the business meeting, that's all I have right now. I think that's that's a place to start.
Very quickly, yes,
You know,
you are absolutely right.
And the thing is, if they don't want to do it, maybe they're so busy that they just don't.
True.
Uh,
Well,
Can they
maybe
make a
Kevin Norm
recommendation?
can.
Maybe they know some
You know,
young fellow that just graduated
mhm.
or that can help.
No, we don't want someone who's just graduated.
All right,
No,
an old timer, but not like me who is losing their mind, so.
No.
Well, what about, is Bill Scanlon still in the game, Norm?
Don't know, I haven't heard his name in a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The
I tell
only,
you
He
what,
was really,
the only thing I heard is
he
that
was really good.
he is or is, at least last I heard, is a planner in some other town.
Yeah, he was.
I
I
think it
don't know
was,
if he
Okay.
still is.
I think it was somewhere west of here.
Charlton.
Okay.
But anyway, just another quick thought. In our inquiry, should we inquire at all about an estimate as to the cost of doing such thing?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Just get us, Norm, I think if you ask Kevin a budgetary price for doing this, to at least get us in the ballpark of what we were thinking.
Yeah.
And maybe, and some scope definition of what they do.
Mhm,
I think that would give us all a warm fuzzy feeling.
mhm.
When did we have him work on the zoning?
Bill Scanlon?
Yeah.
Woo. I'm gonna say it's over 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right, Norm. It's when we were in the building inspector's office.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah. Which he might be considered an old timer now.
yes.
Yeah.
If I can remember, I will try to ask Janet,
Mhm,
because he used to work for Central Mass, so
yeah.
maybe she's keeping track of
Mhm.
him.
Yeah.
One thing on this, I have to look into,
Oh,
with
yes.
the town administrator, any issues of obtaining services, whether there's a procurement issue, whether it has to be RFP'd, or whether there's an exemption for engineers.
Mhm,
So that's a question we have to look into first,
So,
which we will.
Tell him to take a break.
so we should direct our town planner to investigate that.
Yeah.
To see how we
Yeah,
can get
and-
around him.
And Dave, if the RFP process is over $10,000, please ask Kevin, we're gonna do multiple phases of this
Yeah.
at $9.95.
Well, you know, that's getting a little bit shady, but,
I would. It's not shady.
Well, we can break it into sections, Norm. We want you to review the first 3 sections, give us a price.
yeah.
$5,000, great, we'll pay that.
Mhm.
Okay, new sections 4, 5, and 6, $5,000, okay, we'll pay it. So,
Well,
I don't know, I trust Kevin and Carl explicitly.
well, let's find out first if they're interested.
Yeah, you're correct, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of the game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do we have anything else for our business meeting as we're approaching 9 o'clock here?
The only thing is, Norm, that major home occupancy, do we want to do anything with that or just put it on the back burner?
Do not put it on the back burner.
If, I don't know, is that something that CMRPC could help us on?
If we've got the hours, why don't we ask them?
That's exactly the issue. I'm not sure we have the hours because in order to do this master plan in phases,
Yeah.
we've had to use all available hours
Mhm.
that we have to us. So that means even the
What's-
LPA hours, I believe, are being used in service of the master plan. I'd have to check on that.
Yeah.
It's
Can we,
my understanding that we
What-
maxed out on the hours to do the master plan in phase 1 and phase 2 and then phase 3.
can we contract with them also to do something like that, you know, outside of the hours?
I believe so.
Cha-ching.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I say that, Norm, is I'd really like to see if we could have something to take to town meeting in May. If it's an update, if it's something, to put something on the, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of thinking ahead. I am not sure how amenable select board would be to bringing hardly anything to the Maytown meeting.
Oh, why, what's up?
Because the ad hoc bylaw committee is planning on bringing chapters 1 through 6 of our general bylaws, complete revision, before that Maytown
man.
meeting. And with
Oh,
that,
my.
yeah, and with that, we're already anticipating very likely a 2-night town meeting.
Wow. Okay.
So that's, you know, and, you know, hey, a million things can happen between now and then. But that is our plan right now. So,
Okay.
you know, but.
Well, I think
Well-
maybe to Tim and to Dick's point, you know, about the major home occupation or about, you know, even rezoning some, you know, some areas out there, or, you know, working on defining all this type of stuff. As far as this business meeting is concerned, or maybe it's rezoning size of lots or whatever it is, then maybe it's for next May. You know, you're gonna do something that's pretty substantial, which would, you know, a lot of these things that we're talking about are sensitive subjects. They require a lot of research, and, you know, putting these things on an agenda for next year maybe would be a potential.
I don't think
Kevin,
so.
I like that.
I'm getting
Norm,
phone
to your
calls
point-
from various people in town. I don't know if you are, Norm,
No.
about the home occupation, and that people are nervous and upset, and, so, I think the sooner we get looking at this, the better.
And maybe I was, to Kevin's point, maybe I was a little premature, but Norm, I like your idea of at least contracting out maybe CMRPC and get them started on it. Maybe we don't get it done until summer, but at least we can get this thing rolling.
Well, I'm gonna be a little nervous on Central, because they're bringing in, you know, trying to get in new people, They've had
Yeah.
some turnover, so
Mhm.
whether or not they have enough personnel that's gonna be able to handle this, something like this, I don't know.
I
Okay.
don't, I was just throwing out the possibility.
Yeah.
So I am curious, what are these concerns that you're hearing about it?
They've been in business for some time now, and they're fair size, and they're nervous, you know, that they're gonna be told, you know, you're gonna have to move to a business area, or we're gonna have to rezone your area, or, you know,
Mm.
they're nervous that you know, they're gonna have, something's gonna happen to their business. And they've been doing it for quite some time.
But it's not people that hold a major home occupation special permit.
I don't think so. The ones that we did back there, Central Oil, and
Right.
who was the other one?
There was the one on Main Street.
We did Ledger, but he's gone.
Ledger, yeah.
Yep,
We did Steiner, I think,
Yeah.
yep.
he's gone.
Green Gardens called me.
Uh,
I told him he's agriculture, as far as I'm concerned, that is.
Yeah. So, that's the only ones I particularly remember.
Yeah, and.
Well, there's the one down on Four Corners. The lumber company, or
Star Trek.
lumber mill, the woodworking shop.
Oh,
Oh,
Anthony,
And they're gone too, right, Norm?
no,
No, I don't think so.
no, that's. Who owns the storage facility?
Lucier?
Pardon?
Lucier?
Lucier.
Lucy.
That's his, son-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Dave. Okay. All right, good enough. So what are we doing, Ken, so we can get Tanisha out of here?
Tanisha?
Tanisha? How about
guys.
Tamika?
I'm sorry. See,
Wait,
Tamika, I'm having a brain lapse.
I guess you are still recovering.
My oxygen's dipped below 90.
Okay,
We need to get back together again,
yeah,
so everybody start getting well, healthy, stay healthy.
okay.
Yeah, well,
So, okay, last item, Turkey Hill Road, lot 6 and 7, common driveway. We have the decision. And it's, I guess, just like kind of all of the others. Anybody here can sign it, and the rest of you, as soon as you can, try to get up to town hall, or to Dave.
I will just say on that one, time is of the essence, so I would like a signature for that by tomorrow morning. Because time's of the essence on that in terms of finishing up the rest of the process.
Okay,
So I would appreciate that.
yeah, well, 2 of us can sign tonight.
And I guess Kevin, you're up in the morning?
Yep.
Very good.
I will try
I'm
to
back
get
on
up
that.
there.
Norm, if I can, on the business meeting, is that something that we would set a date and schedule something for? Or these are the topics now we're talking about, and then,
This is going to be an ongoing topic at our regular meetings. That
Business meeting.
hopefully we can finish up our regular business, let's say by around 8 o'clock, if we possibly can, so that we can then spend another 45 minutes or an hour as just a business meeting.
and then Norm, we'd have once we got to like an end game, say Kevin came back with a bunch of section 1, 2, 3, 4, we might schedule just a business meeting to take 3 or 4 hours to go through all that and bless it, correct?
Yeah, it's not saying that we can't hold as needed a longer separate business meeting.
Yeah.
The only problem, once again, with that is the lack of Zoom space, time space, people space, and all of that kind of nice stuff. I know Peter is having a real fun time trying to schedule everything, you know,
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
So, but the idea is reserve some part, as much as we can, of our regular meetings for business meetings, just like, well, granted, we only spent like 20 minutes maybe tonight, but hopefully more other nights. And,
Yeah, but we're just getting started, Norm. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a lot of work ahead of us.
So, another thing to think about a little bit is, and I realize they're just starting, but where is this new Economic Development Commission going? We don't want to try to start duplicating things that they're already doing.
And what are they doing that's gonna duplicate us?
Looking at possible rezoning?
Are you?
They're gonna
kidding
do,
me?
say what?
Who
they're gonna
gave-
do
Who gave
what?
them, wait a minute, the planning board
Don't
is,
get me wound up. They got no authority to do anything with zoning.
Well,
and you can tell the TA that, that's my
Yeah.
opinion too.
okay, well, rezoning can be done by petition by almost anybody.
Correct.
Correct.
But probably not that they would affect any zoning changes, but to investigate, okay, let's say for example, areas for the possibility of rezoning.
I'm fine with that, Norm. If they're coming up with a report that they would like to bring to the planning board, that suggestions of zoning changes that we have to look over, review with our board, maybe have hearings, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
my experience
that.
has been that the TA seems to just go do things.
Yeah.
And I'm not cool with that.
Mhm. I don't think they have any authority even to hold a public hearing.
Okay. I'm
Perfectly honest.
stating it,
Yeah.
and Dick, you
But-
can tell me if I'm wrong, but you've seen that too. Just basically do what you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, the bottom line is they're looking at, I'm assuming they are going to be looking at fostering business, among other things,
Yeah.
in town. And let's face it, trying to do that with zoning as it presently is not that easy.
Yeah.
No, it isn't
No,
easy, but.
Kevin brought that up as a good point with, maybe this goes hand in hand with the major home occupancy. Maybe their recommendations overlap what we're trying to do with the major home occupancy, and it's a win-win for both of us.
And it was brought up by the building inspector, the same thing. Yes, we need some other parcels
Mhm.
that people can move to if they have to.
Yeah. So,
We don't have
Yeah,
enough of
yeah.
them.
yeah. And
But-
again, I don't know the exact direction they're going to be taking.
Well, trust me, the direction he had, part of it was okay, but part of it was so much wetland for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so,
don't know.
Okay.
The thing is, he's still talking, I think about building hotels and that kind of stuff out
oh
there.
yeah, skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Because that's what the state wants is an apartment buildings.
Well,
Yeah, not in Rutland, sorry.
I'm sorry, but they're not gonna allow houses in 10 years.
Yeah.
is there any other business to come before the board?
I'm
Dave?
sorry,
Yes.
I may have missed it, but was there a motion to approve the decision as written and then sign it?
Not yet.
Nope. Okay, I'll accept a motion to sign the decision for the common driveway on Turkey Hill Road.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? In favor, roll call, Kevin,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
Dick,
All right,
Norm, aye. Motion carries unanimously. Then, once again, is there any further business to come before the board?
move to adjourn.
I have a
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And once again, roll call. Let's see, last time through, Dick,
Aye.
Norm, aye. Marilyn,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned.